Hello, Estate Planning Mom here, Krista Hermans. It is Wednesday at 6 p.m. and I am doing weekly questions and answers regarding your estate planning questions. So if you are just joining me, please make sure to post your questions in the comment section and I will try to get to those. I do have some questions here that were sent in that I will be going through. So if you are joining us, just go ahead and post your comments in there and I will get to those. As always, you can feel free to email us info@hermanslaw.com. If you don't feel comfortable asking your questions here, I totally understand that. And I can try and get back to you by using email. And you can also go to our website, hermanslaw.com. There are lots of resources available, videos, printables, blog posts, lots and lots of stuff on there to be able to go in and see, what estate planning is about. If you have questions about wills or trusts, guardianship, nomination for minor kids, lots of information on there. You can always call or text our office, 805-518-9633, with any questions that you have. You can schedule a free 15-minute phone consult there as well. Okay, so let's get started with our first question. My daughter is going off to college across the country next week. Is there anything legally I can do to make sure that she is protected? Congrats on your baby leaving the nest. That's very exciting and probably very scary at the same time. Mine are 3 and 5, so I still have some time there. But I do remember when I went away to college, and I actually have a free printable that I will share. If you go to our website, you can find it under our free resources. But I'll go through some of the things that are pretty important that I think parents don't really think about when it comes to planning for college-aged kids. So the biggest thing to keep in mind is that when your child turns 18, they're still your baby. They are legally an adult. So you lose a lot of the rights that you have as a parent in being able to make legal decisions for them, health decisions for them. And that's where a lot of these documents come into play, is being able to have these documents that if something were to happen, there was an emergency, that there wouldn't be issues of you being able to get medical information to be able to make decisions for them. So just going through these documents kind of quickly. The first one is called a HIPAA authorization. So this is a document where you're basically saying that your child signs. It says, I am giving my parents, whoever they want on this list, the ability to talk to doctors, get medical records, find out what's going on. That's a really important document because they do have those privacy rights as an adult. Next is a durable power of attorney or financial power of attorney. This is a document that you can have them sign, and it can either be in California, that's where we practice. So this all is pertaining to California, so every state is going to be different. But in California, we have either a springing power of attorney, which means it only springs into effect upon incapacity if there was some event that happened, or you can make it work right away when it's signed. And it just depends on the situation with the child, if that's what you want, if that's what they want, that they give you that power right away. And some kids like that, so that their parents can call Capital One or do stuff at the bank for them. Always make sure before your child leaves, though, when you get a power of attorney, that you go to the bank and make sure that it's going to work. I know a lot of banks have their own forms, so it's always good to make sure that it's done and it's working before they leave, because it could be an issue if they go and you're not able to do the stuff that you wanted to be able to have the access to do. Another document is called an Advanced Healthcare Directive. This is a document where if something were to happen, you identify an agent to be able to make healthcare decisions on your behalf if you're unable to do so. So very similar to the power of attorney document, but this is relating to healthcare decisions. And this document, it also has certain end-of-life decisions, and it's hard to talk about. I totally understand that, but without it legally documented, wishes aren't known, right? And so that's why it's so important. So just some really, really important stuff in that document as well. Another really interesting document that is specific for colleges is called a FERPA release. So it's the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. And what this is a release from for the college that will allow you to find out what's going on at school, get access to grades. You know, the schools will have this on their website, and you can go on the website and pull the form and have the child sign it before they go off to school, so that if you do want information and be able to go and call and find out what's going on, you can access it. And without this, you probably aren't going to be able to find out much from school because they are an adult at this point. Okay. Some other things and just some tidbits I will give you that I think are kind of important that a lot of times parents just don't really consider when their kids are going off to school is having a joint bank account, some way to be able to get your child money when they are away at school is really important. Creating a Venmo or PayPal account is also a great option. You know, a lot of things are paid through Venmo right now, and so being able to get money back and forth to your child is always important, especially when they're away at college. Having an emergency wallet card, so something on them that basically says if there's an emergency that you can, it has your information there, so they know somebody knows who to call. Another one is finding out when they get to school who their roommates are, and exchanging information with the roommates so that you know the roommate's name, you know the roommate's phone number, that the roommate knows your name and your phone number, so that if something happens or you can't get a hold of your child and when they're away at college, you can call the roommate or the roommate can call you if there's any problems. You know, I think those, again, I have this as a free printable. It is on our website if you want it, but it's just a lot of really great things to think about if your kids are going away to school, or if you have friends that have kids that are going away to school. Super important to make sure that you're going through a lot of these things with them and being able to prepare these before you go. It's just, you know, I hear a lot of horror stories, and you see, you know, 2020 specials and things on the news when kid goes away to school and the parents don't have access to medical information. If they're in the hospital, they can't talk to doctors and they're states away. So these are things that we're trying to prevent, to try and make sure that the parents are able to get access to this. So it's really important. So if you have kids that are going away to college, or you know of people that have kids going away, please share this information. It's so important. And I feel like when people see this, they're like, wow, I didn't even think about that. So I think it's a really great resource, and it's a free printable. So it's available on our website. Again, that's hermanslaw.com, and just go to the resources and the free printables there. So if you are just joining me, I do estate planning questions and answers every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And if you have any questions, what is a will, what is a trust, specific information about guardian nomination, please post your questions in the comment section and I will try and get to those. Okay, next question. Let me go here. Okay, so the question is, I'm confused when I see the term living will. Is there a difference between a living will and a will? Yes, there is, and that is a great question. I have actually seen repercussions of somebody completing a living will, thinking it was their will, and then that's all the planning that they did, and them thinking they had a plan in place. And so let me explain what the two are so I can explain the differences. So a living will in California is what we call an advanced healthcare directive. It basically says that if something happened to you and you were incapacitated, this is how you would want to be taken care of. You know, do you want extreme measures with prolonged life support? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to do any type of organ donation? You know, what are your specific wishes that if you were unable to communicate that, what would they be? And this is in writing. And this is in California, what we call a living will. It's your health decisions. And so it's very different from a will, where a will is a document, it's a legal document, where you basically say in your will how you want your stuff distributed at your passing, and if you have guardians, how you want your, if you have minor children, who the guardians are for your minor children. And so completely different documents, they do completely different things. And there's, I think, a lot of times confusion around that because people think, oh, well, I have a living will, that's all I need. But a living will doesn't have anything to do with probate court. It doesn't have anything to do about distributing your stuff. It's only healthcare decisions. And so I had somebody that came to me where their parents had done a living will and they hadn't done anything else. And they said, oh, well, here's their will. And I said, this isn't a will. This isn't what goes through probate court. This is basically what their end of life decisions are. And their parents already passed at that point. And so this document did nothing for them. And they did do this online through like a drafting software. And I can go off on a whole bunch of other reasons why I don't think it's a good idea to do that. And this is one of those, is they thought they were doing a will by doing this document, and they weren't. And so what their intention was of creating this will wasn't actually a will at all. It was their health decisions. And so that's, one of the biggest things about me and a bunch of other attorneys saying that it's not a great idea to use online drafting, because it gives you this false sense of security that your wishes are legally documented in a way that you think they are, but because the terminology can be confusing, it may not be what you want. And that was exactly what happened here. And so again, a living will is specific to healthcare decisions, and a will is how you distribute your stuff upon your passing, and also nominating guardians for your kids. The will, some people know this is like a last testament will. There's so many different terms for it, but a will, not a living will, is the one that is filed with probate court and basically says how your stuff is distributed. Okay, so if you're just joining us, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please post those in the comments and I will try to get to them. If you don't want to post them, and I totally understand if it's personal, you can always email us info@hermanslaw.com. You can also go to our website, hermanslaw.com. Lots of information on there. I talked about free resources in the beginning, printables that we have. There's a ton on there. If you want to get organized, right? If you just feel like there's stuff all over the place and you don't really know where to start, like there are a ton of free printables on our website to be able to figure out who you have named as beneficiaries on your accounts. Organizing documents, figuring out who you want to be guardians. There's a ton of great resources on there. And you can always call or text our office, 805-518-9633. And anybody can, and you can call or text, and anybody in our office there can help you. We do have a free 15-minute consult that's over the phone, and it's really just a good idea to have it, to just figure out what the process is, how you get started, what's involved in it, and that free 15-minute phone call can help with that. Okay, let's get to the next question. My husband and I don't have much in assets. We have 2 young kids, own our home with a mortgage, have life insurance and retirement accounts. Can you explain what your basic estate planning package includes? Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to grab this from here so I can show you. So this is our estate planning binder that we have for our clients. It is, from a most basic perspective, it has all kinds of information. We have wallet cards, USB drive here, where we scan all the documents for you once they're signed. And then these are just all of the different documents that come with our estate plan. So from a basic estate planning perspective, in the situation or the scenario that you just explained, you own your home with a mortgage, you have life insurance, retirement accounts. So husband and wife, I'm assuming the kids are yours together, just for the purposes of this kind of scenario. What is included? So the first thing would be a revocable living trust is our basic estate planning package. When somebody owns a home or has minor kids, that's usually what we do is a revocable living trust package. And what the trust is basically just an agreement where you as the grantor, which is the creator of the trust, puts specific instructions in writing to the trustee, which is the person who agrees to hold legal title to all of the assets in your trust. And they do this for the benefit of the beneficiaries. So your trust, it's like this, like a wagon. And throughout your lifetime, when you have a revocable living trust, you can make changes to it at any point throughout your lifetime. But you're going to put all your stuff in your wagon and you're just going to carry it along with you. And you don't really even know it's there. But what the trust does is it says that if something happens, this is how I would want my stuff distributed. And what that trust does is it allows you to put very specific instructions about how you would want your kids cared for. And it allows you to do a bunch of other things like life insurance and retirement accounts. That's one big thing that we really talk about here is if you have minor kids in California, they can't inherit money or property. And so if there's no trust set up and it has to go through probate court, then that money is going to be put into a court blocked account where the kids can get access to all of it when they turn 18. Whereas when you have a trust, it stays in the trust for the benefit of the kids, distributed how you want it to go to them. So maybe you'd want them to get a quarter when they turn 25, half when they turn 30, and the remainder when they turn 35, right? So it really kind of protects that money and those assets and property stuff for them over the course of their young adult life, rather than everything at 18. And so what I like about having a trust when you have minor children is the retirement accounts and life insurance, depending on your situation, and this is very kind of generic planning, is you can have your spouse listed as the primary beneficiary on both life insurance and retirement, but then you have the trust listed as the backup, so that if something happens to both parents, then that life insurance would go into the trust. And then be distributed at the ages you said, 25, 30, 35, right? So it allows you a lot more control. It also keeps costs down. Probate is very expensive, right? I go through this all the time. You can look on my website. Probate court is a very long process also. It can take anywhere from 1 to 2 years, especially right now. We're seeing very, very long court dates for probate matters. Okay, so that is the first one, is the biggest piece is the trust. Next, we also do a pour over will. And so this is a document that says, if anything gets left outside of my trust, it just gets poured over into my trust, kind of very simplified sense. We also do a durable power of attorney. So this is a document where you identify an agent to be able to make financial decisions on your behalf if you are unable to do so. We do an advanced healthcare directive. The advanced healthcare directive, very similar to the power of attorney, but it allows you to identify an agent to be able to make healthcare decisions on your behalf if you are unable to do so. We do a HIPAA authorization so that you can say these are people that you would want to be able to talk to doctors, get medical records, find out what was going on. If you own a home, we would prepare a deed transferring title from you as the owners of your home to you as the trustees of your trust. So we're putting your house into the name of your trust, because that's one of the biggest things about avoiding probate, is making sure that you don't own anything in your name personally, is it's owned in the name of your trust. So if something happens, the successor trustee, the person who would be your backup in charge, can then just step in and start following the instructions of your trust. We also do, for our trust packages, it comes with our Kids Safeguard system. And this system is meant really to protect the kids. So we do guardian nomination for short-term guardians, long-term guardians. We do a confidential exclusion letter. So if there's anybody that you would never want to have custody of your kids, we can write a letter about that. We do emergency contact information, wallet cards, car seat stickers. We also have wishes to guardian that come with it, and it's a very long PDF that we provide, so that you can just say, if something happened, you can go in and fill it out. How do you want your kids raised? Where do you want them to go to school? What sports do you want them to play? Activities to be involved with, travel, all of these different kinds of things come included with this for you to be able to update it as you want to. Trying to think what else comes with this. I know there's a lot of stuff. So just some other documents that are important: general assignment of personal property. We do a personal property memorandum. So if you have specific things, family heirlooms, watches, surfboards, anything that you want to give away at your passing, this document is a way for you to be able to go in and put that in there. So that is what comes with our basic estate planning package. If you want more, you want to know what our process is, I will tell you right now, all of our appointments are virtual. So very similar to a lot of what people are doing on Zoom, is we meet virtually to be able to assess your situation. We do what we call a family planning assessment, and we basically look at this worksheet that you complete online to understand what's going on with your family situation, what assets do you have, and then do an assessment. If something happened to you, what would happen to your kids and what would happen to your stuff? And if you don't like that, in that meeting, we actually design a plan that would resolve all of those issues for you. There's no charge for getting that set up for the family planning assessment. So you can go to our website, hermanslaw.com. In the top right-hand corner, there is a book appointment button, and you can click that and figure out where you're located, which office of ours is closest to you. If you're not close to one of our offices, we do virtual throughout the state of California, and you just click it there and pick the time that works best for you. I will say that one of the things that we really have here in our practice is a very family-oriented practice. We're all working parents, and so very flexible schedules, which is great for clients because if they can't meet until an evening, we do evening appointments online and also Saturday appointments, and so it makes it really easy to get your planning done. If you have any questions, again, please let me know. And if you're just joining us, thank you so much. Go ahead and post any questions you have in the comment section, and I will try to get to those. I think I have time for 1 or 2 more questions. If you do have any questions and you don't want to share it, please email us info@hermanslaw.com or always visit our website, hermanslaw.com. You can always call or text our office, 805-518-9633. Okay. Next question, can I add my child onto my deed? So I am assuming by this question that you're talking about from an estate planning perspective. So I have seen this quite a few times where people don't want to do the estate planning documents for a whole host of reasons. And so they just try and do adding their kids to their deed. So a few issues, and I'll be kind of brief because it's always dependent upon the situation. Things to look out for. When you add a child onto your deed, how you title it may not be what your intention is and how they actually were to receive it. And so that's one of the big things, is by just doing this yourself. And I have seen this, and it comes back from a probate perspective when things don't get done correctly, and then we have to send the house through probate to be able to be distributed according to, because they had the house in their name, it didn't get transferred the right way, or percentages of the house, which I've seen also happen. So you want to make sure that what your intent is actually followed through on how you prepare this deed. I'm just going to say from the very start that I do not think that this is the best way to do estate planning. I think having a trust in place, if you own a home in California, having a trust is going to be the best way, generally, to be able to transfer it to the people that you want it to go to. So by putting them on the deed, again, if it's not titled the right way, there might be issues, in which case the house has to go through probate court anyways. There could be issues if that child were to get sued, or if they have creditors, they can come after you for your house. There could be reassessment. There could be they could lose a step up in basis because it's being gifted prior to your passing, and so you may lose that value that you had when you bought the house, and it's being reassessed then, and capital gains taxes can come into play. So there's a lot of different things, and a lot of things that can go wrong for people if they try to forego doing estate planning and getting the legal documents in place and just doing deed transfers and deed changes. There's just, unless it's being done the right way, and depending on the situation, we don't know the right way. Also, what's the intent of if there's siblings and you do it to one child, they're going to share it with the rest of my kids. So there's just lots of different things to think about from that aspect. The best way, I think, to do it is by having a trust, because that just makes sure you put your house in your trust, and then you say how you want your stuff distributed according to your trust wishes. Okay. I think that is all the questions I have for today. If you have any, go ahead and post those in the comments, and I will try to get to those. If not, I'm going to finish up here. You are always welcome to email us, info@hermanslaw.com, or go to our website, hermanslaw.com. And you can always call or text us at 805-518-9633. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys back here next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. for estate planning questions and answers. Thank you.